I know. There's Bears fans all over the place that are persistent with their stupidity, their McCaskey cuckdom, geeking out for the mediocrity of the McCaskey way because that's what dumbass Chicago people do. Idiotic, moronic Bears fans do. Oh, it doesn't matter that they've lost 6 games in a row. I tell you what, I'm going to eat this overrated ass deep dish Chicago pizza and I'm going to stuff my face full of overrated ass Chicago style hot dogs because both things are true. They suck. And if you sit there and geek out to them, you suck too. That's right. It's almost like I'm declaring war against everything that represents Chicago. You know why? Because it's all a bunch of stupidity. Sitting there and, I'm going to root for this team. I got to root for them to win no matter what the situation, no matter what's at stake, no matter what the cost. Because that's what a real fan does. No. A real fan supports them no matter what. You want to believe that crap, you go right ahead. A real fan should be smart enough to understand when a team is garbage, when they have no hope, that there is nowhere to go but down. So, insisting on persisting with the petulance of the stupidity of trying to pursue a 7th seed in the playoffs is peak Chicago moronicness. Stupidity, idiocracy, whatever the hell you want to call it, I don't even care. You are not a better fan because you're too stupid to put your freaking beer goggles down and look at the bigger picture and understand that, oh, well, you know what? Until they get a real quarterback, it doesn't effing matter. Until they get a competent head coach and a competent general manager and a competent team president, it doesn't matter! So, they could sit there and win all the regular season games they want the rest of the way. Duh! It's almost like if they win more games this year, it increases the likelihood that these guys all come back and the problems persist to get worse. Die! And you want real talk, real dope here. All the, I can't believe you're so negative. A-holes, it's been 35 years since they won a Super Bowl. What the fuck is there to be positive about? Seriously. Like if you're under the age of 20, watching this video, number 1, thank you. Number 2, if you're a Bears fan, the hell's wrong with you? Go switch allegiances to another team while you're young. Do it now. Do you want to end up like this? Do you want to look like this? I realize handsome devil and everything, but do you want to be like this? Is this how you want to go through life? Because if you don't change your ways now, you'll end up like these other idiots in the Bears media, on Bears Twitter, Bears fans in general, sitting there holding out foolish, stupid hopes, hoping for frickin' breadcrumbs for reaching the last seed in the playoffs. Is that what you want your life to be? What every real Bears fan should want in this season of lots of negative, and even if you bought into any of the alleged positive, you were just kidding yourself, telling your asses all year this is a fluke-ass team, they're garbage, and now they're validating pretty much everything I've ever said about them. So once again, to those of you that like to hate on me and my takes pertaining to this crappy team, tell me how my ass tastes. You must enjoy something about it. I don't know why. Because year after year, we go through this same frickin' song and dance. Why would you have faith in this organization? Why would you have confidence in them? What you should be doing is on Sunday rooting like hell for Deshaun Watson. Like, here comes Deshaun Watson, the kid from Clemson, who played best when the lights were brightest in college, including beating Alabama for a national championship while in school. He was a young man that did everything that was asked for him, met all the lofty expectations, set even higher expectations, then proceeded to really meet and exceed all of those. Comes into that 2017 draft, the Chicago Bears take one look and say, hey, this is a great, hardworking young man on the field, a great, respectable leader and young man off the field, the type of player that you'd be proud to build your organization around, intangibles absolutely off the charts, would do wondrous things in terms of establishing and reconnecting and rebuilding relationships within the Chicago community. Like, all of these other indications that he played well in big games. And if we're not going to geek out to the immense athletic physical talents of Patrick Mahomes, then at least let's go with the pedigree of the surefire college winner, who, while he has his flaws, at least you could say he did it on college football's highest stage. Instead, the dumb dicks in the Bears organization, Ryan Pace, took one look and said, "No, detour, we're going to go to North Carolina. This kid only started 1 year in college." Ooh, fascinating. He took 2 years and he couldn't beat out the scrub starting in front of him. Ooh, tell me more. Ooh, he had one average season where he flashed more skills reminiscent of Andy Dalton and Aaron Rodgers. I gotta have him, and not only do I have to have him, I have to have him before Mahomes and Watson get drafted. And not only that, I gotta trade up to 3 to 2 to get him. Like Deshaun Watson on Sunday. This should be a statement game for you. You should be sending a message to Ryan Pace, the Chicago Bears front office, and frankly, the Bears organization as a whole, and the city of Chicago, and all the Bears fans out there. The Bears fans that are sitting there talking about, well, we're tired of hearing about how they passed on Mahomes and Watson all these years later. You know what? Only 2 ways you're ever going to stop hearing about that is, number one, the Bears finally actually get a legit young franchise quarterback in the draft that they could build around for the next 10, 15, 20 years. But knowing you idiots and the way the McCaskey family and the Bears organization feeds off your stupidity, they'll trade for a Sam Darnold and it'll be history repeating itself all over again. Oh, paging Rick Mirer. You get the goddamn point. The only other way you're not going to hear about it is you die. That's it. Either this team gets a young quarterback or you die. It's the only way you're ever going to stop hearing about it. So, until A happens, which A won't continue to happen as long as this organization continues to trot out mediocre teams that aren't really good enough to contend, but aren't really bad enough to get at the top where they can get that real franchise-changing quarterback, this is what you got. And before you sit there and say, well, they've been in this position before and they've screwed it up, yes, they have. That's absolutely true. But even in those cases, you could kind of argue against whether or not they were really truly tanking. They were just bad. And you could say, well, that seems counterintuitive to want to sit there and take, sometimes you just got to do it. You know what I mean? Like, what has this Bears team done for decades? The true definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the results to be any different. Yet year after year, the Bears do that, and Bears fans are stunned. But yet all the while, the Bears fans as a whole sit there and buy into the same garbage every year, talk about Bears football and all this crap that doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because the Chicago Bears are irrelevant. What you should be rooting for, instead of your stupid team to win a stupid game that will mean nothing in the grand scheme of things other than potentially creating long-term damaging ramifications and repercussions, because the more wins this team gets this year, it increases any likelihood that a Nagy, Pace, and or Ted Phillips is retained. And you don't want that. Let me repeat. I was talking about this last year. They needed to go after last year because I saw the writing on the wall. Now that we're 3/4 of the way through this season, how the hell can you not see what is so strikingly obvious? The only thing that real Bears fans should be doing on Sunday is hoping Deshaun Watson comes in and absolutely beats the brakes off of the Chicago Bears. You should be hoping for and rooting for Deshaun Watson to give us one last game, to sit there and do big things. 300 plus yards passing, maybe 400 total yards of offense, 3 to 4 touchdowns. Like, send a message, embarrass this team, make a laughing stock, make them regret passing on you. Like, this is the type of revenge game that a true type of alpha male takes seriously and goes in and pushes the Bears stuff in. That's what Bears fans should be rooting for. A loss here gets you to 5-8. Gets you very close to being completely eliminated from the playoff race. That's what we want. Lose them all! No good comes from winning any game the rest of this year. No good. Nothing good comes from it. It's not building team morale. It's not setting the table for 2021. It's not doing any of that. All it's doing is increasing the risk that the stupidity continues with the Chicago Bears organization. And all it's doing is costing this team valuable valuable slotting in terms of the draft. And that stuff matters. It absolutely matters, especially for a team like this that doesn't have a ton of draft pick capital because, again, here's a reminder, not only did the asshole draft a Trubisky in the same conference as opposed to a Deshaun Watson, he traded up from 3 to 2 to do so, giving up a bunch of picks because Ryan Pace is an impetuous little 5-year-old like he just got his allowance and can't wait to frickin' spend it. It's burning a hole in his pocket. He's got to give up every draft pick he possibly can because he doesn't know how the fuck to draft. We understand how it works. That's clear. Look at the results. I rest my case. In terms of game analysis for this, what are you talking about? The Texans have at least showed a little bit of life after Bob got fired. I mean, what are they, like 4-4 under Romeo Crennel? And they've got the franchise quarterback. The Bears are 0-6 in their last 6 games, and they have Mitchell Trubisky. They suck. Their offensive coordinator sucks, and their defense is going down the tubes by the moment. I hope this is one of these like 34-23 Bears victories. Or excuse me, Texans victories. 34-23 at a minimum. I want the Texans to come in and just rock them. I want the Texans to come in and make this a no-doubter from the beginning. And frankly, with this Bears team having lost 6 straight games, what the hell makes you think they would even be in a position to win this one? Really? Like, what makes you think that? Oh, J.J. Watt against this crappy offensive line. Oh, baby. Deshaun Watson against this defense with poor schemes, poor play calling, and poor execution and poor effort. Oh, I'm sure that's a recipe for success. Texans all the way Sunday. Let's go, Deshaun. Let's go, Deshaun. Send a message to Hallis Hall and help us find one just like you. Lose them all, Chicago. You get no victories from winning on Sunday. Only losses.